Hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you and very happy to be here to share my experience. So what I'm going to talk to you a bit about is my transition from SDR to AE. So I've just transitioned in January. And as an intro, what I wanted to touch point on is, so as an SDR, we're involved in a very small part of the sales cycle, which is a very, very difficult and hard part, if not the hardest of all of the sales cycle, but it's still a very small part, which is generating interest in a meeting. And there's a bit of a difference in how to be successful as an SDR and how to be successful as an AE. To be successful as an AE, you need to be great at, yes, generating interest, and that's very important, and that's what you're doing right now in your current role. But you also need to be able to uncover and identify opportunities that are worth spending time on, and how to control that whole process that leads to a sale after that first meeting. And those are very different skills. So what I'll be talking to you about is those 7 minutes is sharing some tips and my advice on things that you can do now as an SDR to get ready for the next step as an AE, and to have a great transition into the role. So I've personally done those things over the past year, and they really helped me both be successful as an SDR, so you will definitely benefit from them in your current role, but they will also help you be ready to make the move when the opportunity comes. So the first point that I want to talk about is preparation, and doing the groundwork on the side of your current SDR role to be ready for that next step. So what I'm talking about here is basically I'm asking you to shadow sales call, learn as much as you can, set monthly calls with sales reps and ask them questions, ask them for tips, understand how salespeople that you're setting up meetings for, how they position your product, how they qualify opportunities, what are the characteristics of good opportunities, and what are the characteristics of the type of customers that they're having more success with. So you're working right now with AEs and setting up meetings for them. So it's an amazing opportunity for you to just learn from them and try to take as much as you can in and leverage that knowledge that you can learn. It will really help you identify which accounts to spend your time on when you do your territory planning as an AE, and give you a better understanding of how to qualify opportunities that you're managing and how to lead the meetings that you will end up setting up for yourself, if that makes sense. So the first point was everything related to preparation and groundwork. The second one that I want to talk about is the value proposition and the product training. So often as an SDR, you're the first point of contact for a lot of people within the company. So it's very important to be able to position the product in the right way, understand the value proposition. You know, it might be different depending on the persona, the type of person that you're speaking with, whether they're low in the organization, whether they're high. Their interests and their interests will vary. So understand how to position the product and the value proposition behind it. That will benefit you as an SDR when you do your calls, but it will be primordial for you to be successful as an AE as well. Another point that I want to touch on, and that links as well to what Charlie was saying before, is build your brand internally and build great relationships with different people in the company. And what I mean by that is I see so many people, and don't get me wrong, that's great. I see a lot of people putting a lot of effort on building a brand on LinkedIn. And I think that's really important for sure. But don't underestimate the importance of building your brand internally within the business. And not just in the organization, the SDR organization, but with different teams like sales, technology, legal, customer success, sales operations. Everyone, you'll need to leverage all those people when you turn to sales, and they will be a great help and resource when you get to the AE role. And if you're friends with them, if you already got a relationship with them, it's way easier to just ask them something on Slack when you need it. And trust me, you'll need it when you get to the AE role. Actually, there's a lot of admin that we have to do when registering opportunities, when moving to different sales stages, getting order forms to sign customers. There's a lot of different moving parts in a business that need to coordinate to make a sale happen. And there's a lot of different people involved. So the more relationships you have and the more you can leverage them, the better. Another point I want to talk about, and that also relates a bit to the first one that I was mentioning, is work on understanding the sales process within your company. And that's really primordial for you to be successful as an AE, is understand what are the different sales stages and try to go beyond that first meeting that you're setting and understand what happens after that first meeting. Because once you're the AE, you'll have to set the next step yourself and understand, okay, where this is going. Do I have a close plan? How am I leading this forward? You need to be in control of the sale, and you need to understand the different sales stages and what is needed for each of them. If there's any specific information that you need to collect, if there's a sales framework that your company uses that might be BENT or MEDIC or MEDPIC or whatever. So what I advise you to do is try to follow some of the opportunities and meetings that you book for your AEs and attend the follow-up calls with your AE and understand what's the process, and ask your AEs question: why are you doing this? Why are you setting this next step? Why are you not doing that? And try to understand a bit better how a sale happen in the different stages. And so the last point that I want to talk about is just a reminder that don't think that AEs are just doing amazing things. Most of our time is spent doing the same thing that you're doing, which is pipeline generation and trying to get ourselves meeting. Unless you have AEs that are only working on inbound leads. What I'm doing is mostly outbound, so I very much have to build my own pipeline. And I spend 90% of my time building my own pipeline right now because I'm just starting off. So I would also focus on trying to be the best SDR that you can and enjoy the role as much as you can, or try to find new ways of being successful, because those will benefit you as well when you transition to the A role and you have to set up those meetings as good as you can get by yourself. So these were my 5 points. I hope it was helpful, and I really believe if you apply them, you'll be ready for the next step, and you'll also benefit from them in your current role as an SDR. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have in the chat or on LinkedIn as well. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone.